Hi everyone and welcome to this episode of my Saturn series. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what it means if you or someone that you know has Saturn in conjunction with the lunar north node in the birth chart. So the closer the conjunction is, obviously the more strong it's going to be. But really, if it's in conjunction at all with the north node, even if it's like a few degrees away, this is super strong. This is super powerful. What's happening here is there's two heavy karmic points and they're in conjunction with each other. Saturn being the Lord of Karma, North Node being like destiny, why you're here, North Node really probably is the most important part of your chart, and people might hear that and go, no, it's not, but it's perhaps not the most powerful part of your chart. It's not like the sun, it's not like the moon, it's not like Mars or anything, but is it the most important? As in the most beneficial information that you could have? I think so. As in, if you were going to be locked out of your birth chart forever, you're going to forget everything, have your memory wiped, but there's one thing that you could remember about your birth chart. What would it be for me? It would be the North Node. It's like it's so powerful like that. Um, So really, I'm not going to describe what the North Node is or really go into depth about what Saturn is. And this video is assuming that you know that. Um, Essentially, you have to get good with Saturn. You have to become like Saturn, or at least become friends with Saturn, become comfortable with Saturn. And that is Saturn, the planet of structure, limitation, long-term vision, things that are slow, things that are they don't come easy. The planet of old age as well. So what we're looking at here is put it in the work so that you can reap the rewards, right? So Saturn is the lord of the harvest. Saturn is really the harvest. If you've been putting in the work, towing the fields, sowing the soil, whatever, and you've been tending to the crops, so when it becomes harvest time, you've got a good yield and you can survive the winter. If you've been sitting on your arse going, I can't be bothered doing anything, when Saturn comes for harvest, and it will come for the harvest, uh, you're gonna be kicking yourself. You're gonna be saying, well, I wish I put the work in. I wish I thought about the future, the long-term vision, but I didn't. You probably won't if you have Saturn in your North Node, because it's like you're called to become like this. I'm not saying that like if you have Saturn North Node, you're super irresponsible, or it's not like that at all. And it also depends on what's going on in your birth chart. This video is informed not only by my research, but also by the fact that I have this placement. I have Saturn um, exactly conjunct my North Node, and it's in Capricorn. So my North Node is already Saturnian, being the fact that it's in Capricorn, and then it's Saturn exactly conjunct my North Node. So I know about Saturn conjunct North Node. It's in a fourth house as well. It's a heavy house. So yeah, harsh energy. So Saturn wants you to have that long-term vision. Saturn wants you to show up time and time again, put in the work, um, responsibility, duty, colds, headedness. I don't not cold-hearted, but being able to put your emotions aside, maybe your wants and needs and desires even, and be like, I'm just gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna do what I should do. Never mind what I want to do or what I think would be really cool, or just what you should do, for long term stability. So Saturn North Node, you're going to be learning tough lessons about this stuff. Like it's super strong. Like I'm saying, this is heavy karma. North Node is the karmic point. Saturn is the Lord of Karma. So you're really being tested here on what you're doing in this life. Like you're really being tested. You know, it's like Saturn is like fucking breathing down your neck in regards to your North Node. It's gonna be kicking your arse if you are not. uh living right, you know, it really is. It's always gonna, Saturn's always gonna be like that. But when Saturn's on your north node, Saturn's like paying attention to you, you know. um I imagine when I imagine Saturn, I always think of a classroom setting. um Saturn's like a teacher or an exam invigilator. You're doing like a practical lesson, studying, whatever. Um, the teacher has his eyes on you because it knows previously that you've maybe not done the work, you've been lazy, you can't be bothered, whatever. Um, you've not really respected the lessons or whatever. So Saturn, that teacher, is like really paying more attention to you than anyone else and almost expecting you to fail. Um, it's not expecting you to fail, but like knows that you really struggle. You know, Saturn is not a planet of hate. It's not a planet. It's not an evil planet. A lot of people are scared of Saturn. It's not like Saturn really wants you um, to succeed. It does. It just um, it's the one that's really going to test you on things. It's the one that really knows that like it has to be Saturn. Like Saturn is the one, you know, and it's like ultimately Saturn, Saturnian lessons, Saturnian themes. I do believe this is for our own good, like development, soul progression in terms of transcending stuff that has kept us stuck for a long time. So Saturn is really there to help, but Saturn is tough, you know. Um, anyway, I said I wasn't going to go into a lot of detail about Saturn, but yeah. So uh, in my research as well, they're saying, you know, it's like almost like getting things wrong in a past incarnation. So it's like almost having to repeat lessons or um like that kind of theme, you know, like I was saying, you know, it's like maybe you got history of not being good with Saturn, so now you're really being tested, like come on, you have to integrate these Saturn lessons, like it's time, you know. So it's like that, you know. Um so yeah, it's like painful lessons as well. Learning things the hard way and really reforming your character, the way that you view yourself, the way that you view the world. Like, North Node's really all about that, really, anyway. But with Saturn, it's like, you know, Saturn is like the structure. It's like a box. It's like I when I think of this as well, I'm thinking of like, yeah, it's like I imagine like someone like doing sports or dancing or something, and their form is really bad. You know, the form is just sloppy. You know, whatever it is, if they're swinging a bat, or playing football, or as a ballerina, or whatever, and the form is just sloppy. Like, you know, and it's like Saturn is like this teacher instructor, and they're like, you know, like, no, stand this way, move this way, you know, focus here, like. So it's like super, like, you know, like change your form, you know, because it's like you need to get with it, you know. And that those themes, like, that's kind of what makes like this is an especially hard placement, you know. Like, it's not easy. North Node's never comfortable, it's never easy. Saturn here though, it's extra not easy, you know. So yeah, as well, I would say with Saturn North Node, like, you could save yourself a lot of time if you listen to older people, listen to people that have been around a lot more, like um they they've done, like, they have wisdom or knowledge or experience or whatever that you just don't have, maybe from youth and experience, whatever. With Saturn North Node, um you could really do yourself a lot of favors and like really save yourself a lot of trouble if you would listen to people who are older, who mean well. You know, not everyone is older, but you know. So yeah, and it's like with North Node, South Node is really, you know, North Node in reverse. I mean, that is what it is. It's always exactly in the opposite place. Now, this is for Saturn conjunct North Node. I don't know what signs your north node and your south node is in. Like, I don't know. It could be any sign. But true to the theme of flipping it, north node, south node. So we look at the characteristics and the themes of your north node, and it's just inverse with south node. So if Saturn is conjunct your north node, what does that mean for south node? Well, it's in opposition. It's in opposition. It's they don't see eye to eye at all. And with an opposition, I always picture it. Two people, they hate what the other person is saying, though they don't agree, and there's just conflict. So your south node, yeah, it's like coming from a place where you're like, I hate that Saturn. I don't like it. It's making me uncomfortable. It's we don't see eye to eye. I don't like it, and it's not got anything worth saying. It's not got anything. I just don't care for it at all. And your south node is how you've been living early in life in past incarnations. So you're like, nah, I'm not interested. you know. And for a while, for a long time, maybe that worked. That might have worked. Okay, you could maybe avoid Saturn for a while. Can you avoid Saturn forever? No, you can't avoid Saturn forever. And that's what's happening here in this life. Saturn's like, well, I'm here now, and I'm gonna be testing you now in this life, like super strong, you know, because it knows what you're like, and it's not trying to hurt you, it's trying to help you, and it's just like that can involve pain with Saturn, like that's common with Saturn, tough lessons. Anyway, past incarnations. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about safety, right? We're talking about comfort. We're talking about self-indulgence. Talking about um yeah um self just making yourself feel good at the moment. Comfort eating, yeah, comfort living, self-indulgence, you know, lazy, not going to put the work in. Um Emotional as well. Emotions are great. It's great to be emotional, but it's also great to um be able to control your emotions and be able to um yeah, control them and be able to be like, well, now is the time to not be emotional, but you didn't know how to do that before. So I was just kind of emotions all the time, and I intertwined with everything. And again, it's part of that lack of structure, lack of form. Just it's like, Saturn is the box, it's the building, it's the architect, and you were like a blob, like, oh, I don't, I don't want to do the difficult stuff. And that's really that Saturn in opposition to your south node. Um, and yeah, like I'm really uh telling on myself here, with the south node stuff. Also, my south node is in Cancer, so it's like that plus Cancerian themes. It's like, yeah, it's it's yeah, it's a harsh north south node that I have. So I know about this north node Saturn. I know about it because I've lived it and I'm continuing to live it. So yeah, that was south node stuff, like so this you're building something here. You're becoming comfortable with success. You might never have been comfortable with that. You're becoming comfortable um with being strong, with understanding that you can be strong when you need to be, understanding that you can build something that can last, understanding that you should become more comfortable with believing in yourself, with authority or responsibility, like all of these things. And this stuff you might not have believed in yourself before about these things because it's in opposition to the south node, and it's on the north node. It's automatically uncomfortable for you. So yeah, you build something, you know inner strength, business, physical strength, whatever, you know, I would say like if you got North Node conjunct Saturn, get to know Saturn intimately, read about Saturn, read books about Saturn, watch videos, articles, study it, meditate on what Saturn is, um, and understand like what practical ways can you integrate that into yourself and your life, you know, and that's really what North Node Saturn is asking you to do here. So yeah, that's really it for this video. If you liked it, then like the video. If you didn't, then don't. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in another video. Take care.